Hey viewers, welcome back. It's that time of the season again where we are starting our garden chores again. This year is a little bit different because I had to take the soil out of the greenhouse, whereas last year we bought our own soil and used that. However, this year, because we've been adding manure over the course of the fall of last year and early winter this year, we decided to use what we have in the greenhouse because it's already got some nutrients in there. And what I did before I put them in the pots was I took a screen and I took the soil that was in there with the manure, because there's some that was not composted 100%. There's also some hay in there, some eggshells that we didn't want into these pots here where we're going to have seedlings, because it's going to compromise their growth. So I just kind of sifted out the bigger chunks, left those in the greenhouse, and then put the finer soil into the pots here and brought them in. One cool thing that we did this year that we wanted to save money on is bigger planters. And if you see in the video that I'm going to have overlapping is I used our previous supplement jars or supplement containers and cut the tops off of them and use them as our planters. So they actually work very nicely. They're already black. I just had to cut the top and drill a little what do you call it? A hole for a drain. And they actually work great. So we just finished planting basically everything we need for now. We'll have some more coming up in the future weeks, but maybe you can let them know what we got going on here.
Yeah, so Andre went through and kind of made a schedule as to what's being planted and when it's being planted, and what we can plant outside versus inside. So here is, this is kind of the second round. The first round he did already. This is the second round that I helped with. So we have Swiss chard here that was planted. We have two varieties of cabbage. We've got broccoli and cauliflower. And then three or four varieties of tomato, as well as 3 or 4 varieties of pepper, and those are all in the bigger plants here. We are going to plant some things inside as well, so that we've got that going on, because tomatoes and peppers are a little bit sensitive to the colder weather, so we're going to keep them inside or in the greenhouse. But we planted them in larger planters this year. That was a learning lesson that we learned from last year. Starting them in the starter trays is a good idea only if you're going to be planting them outside within, I'd say, 3 to 4 weeks. Because we found that it really stunted their growth because they were in the starter trays for 2 months. So plants did not grow as well last year. But we're starting them, as you can see, in much bigger planters this year, whether it's in here or in here, and then once it's time for them to go outside in sometime in the next 8 weeks or so, they'll be much bigger and they'll be much stronger, but they've got a lot more room to be able to grow in the meantime. Yeah,
they'll be a lot more resilient to the colder weathers or whatever. But
Yes.
Exactly, good point.
So we have,
go ahead.
So we have that all done, and then we'll be planting more, I think, next week, if I'm looking at the calendar correctly.
Yeah, next week we have got a little schedule here. So yeah, next week we have watermelon, cantaloupe. We're gonna try cantaloupe. Didn't do it too hot last year, but again, we're gonna do them in bigger pots this year and see what they look like. Sunflowers. We're gonna start them in here also, because last year we got them to the point where they just started developing their heads and didn't quite get to the finishing stages. So we figure if we start them a month earlier, or a month 5 weeks, I would say earlier, we get to the finished product a little earlier, and then squash.
And then squash as well, which I'm excited for. So.
And then I think we also have cucumbers coming up.
Cucumbers, yes, and then pumpkin, although that's more direct, so I think we'll do cucumbers direct, so, but we'll figure that out. We haven't got that part out yet, but all of our stuff that needs to be started inside, for the most part, that needs 8 weeks to grow before it goes outside, is all in here. So we're super excited to see how it grows and super excited to see what comes out of it.
Yeah, all the different varieties. We're excited because we have some purple tomatoes this year. We have some cherry tomatoes this year. And just all around going to be some good times.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us.